did our project on how to start a business in Germany. We chose Kmyia. So first, there's a list of laws. They have the German corporate law, which basically just says which type of partnership you have. If you have sole, limited, general, or dormant partnership. There's also the antitrust and competition law, distribution systems law, intellectual property rights law, which basically is your copyright on everything, your patents, trademarks, etc. And the labor law, which is to protect your workers, and your social security laws. They have a pretty regular political climate. It's Democratic, federal, parliamentary republic. The legislature is in Bundestag, it's the parliament of Germany, and Bundesrat, that's the representative body of their regional states. And so for the immigration, they weren't really open to having foreigners in their country, and then they opened up towards that idea towards the early 2000s. As spikes started to go up, they got large amounts of people just coming to Germany anyway, so they're like, well, we might as well embrace it, let's be cultural. So that's that. They have the 4th spot in the top 10 of the international common rates. They have strict laws, so it takes a while to set up a business, 6 days more than it would here in the US. There are laws and regulations that protect everyone, like the workers, the consumers, and the environment. And to have a work visa is quite a bit of work. It's a 6 to 11 week process, and it takes about 60 euros, which is about $60 in US money. You would need a passport, an application form, a residence permit, 2 pictures of yourself, a clean criminal record, proof that you know how to speak German, and a job offer, which would technically be like your job proposal for starting a business. And you would need health insurance confirmation because it is not free for everybody.
So I'm going to be talking about foreign investors owning German property. In general, business activities are restriction-free with day-to-day business. I went on a lot of websites looking for laws, and almost all of them said that it was really easy to start a business and there weren't really many restrictions, so that's a really good thing. German law generally makes no distinction between German citizens and non-German citizens. Any entrepreneur that desires to create a business in Germany can do so. There is not a specific investment legislation in Germany, and there is not a minimum percentage of German shareholders required. Let's see, setting up a business in Germany will take at least 4 weeks if you're lucky. Since registering for a permanent establishment requires documents from your home country, it could take up to 6, depending on how long it takes the process from where you're from. Next slide. So what can you bring in or take out of the country? And I kind of focused on money because I figured that's what we were looking for. So capital can be moved in and out of Germany with no regulations, but any amount over 12,500 euros, which is the equivalent amount of $13,929 US dollars, it needs to be reported to the German central bank. And you have to report these for statistical reasons only. They just want to keep up with how much money is being taken in and out of the country. If you don't have a residence in Germany, you do not have to register for a capital transfer. And for big companies such as banks and whatnot, you have to report receivables and liabilities if you have up to 5 million euros, which that's kind of understandable. That's a big number. Forms to report this are available at the German Central Bank, and they call it Bundesbank, or at least I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, next slide. So foreigners owning a property. Can I own a property in Germany? Yes, you can. Non-Germans can also buy, sell, or own an unrestricted quantity of land or homes. You can either buy as many homes as you want if you want to buy a lot of homes. Other countries in Europe, such as Iceland, only allow residents to buy land. In other Europe countries, such as Hungary and Denmark, you have to get approval from the local authorities. But most of the main European countries, such as Germany, do not prohibit a foreigner from buying land or a home. Something they do require is for a legal professional to carry out all of the paperwork for their real estate investors. And this is to put the buyer at ease through the process and will prevent any possible unnecessary errors. Any property purchased in Germany is susceptible to property tax. It is suggested to hire a German solicitor to help you avoid a possible tax money pit.
About the tax regime in Germany, their tax rate is 25% plus a 5.5% solidarity charge. You may be double taxed if you're working in 2 different countries during that tax year. The income levels, they attract different different levels of tax. Also, the trade tax is the same rate. It is set by local authorities, but it can vary between different municipalities. For their work weeks, they normally work 6 days, Monday through Saturday. They work about 48 hours per week. Also, their income tax is progressive. It starts at 14%. It can rise to as high as 42%. Foreign versus local workers. A lot of companies in Germany say that their market has been sucked dry. A lot of the local workers will push out foreigners because they're unfriendly. They also underpay the immigrants that do come into the country who seek work. They also pay them less than minimum wage, which is 8.84 euros. And I found a statistic that says 1 in every 5 people get deported out of Germany. For their visas, you need an entry visa if you wish to stay longer than 90 days, and you need to apply within the 3 months if you wish to stay. Their import and export restrictions, they don't really have any restrictions on what you can and can't import, but they do have a value-added tax depending on where you're shipping what. It will get taxed based on what country it's going to, if it can't stop directly from US to Germany. Their exchange rate between the US is 0.04 euros to the US dollar. Germany is a member of the European Union, and the US and Germany are a part of the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. This agreement is designed to fortify trades between the European Union. Some of the cultural differences between Germany and US is considered frowned upon if you dress casual or sloppy. For men, they should wear dark colored conservative business suits. women should dress conservative, wear dark suits, white blouses, conservative dresses. They like to balance their work life because they value their free time. Germans are adept in many languages. They speak German at work, but English at home. And when trying to translate, they have polite tolerance because they know that it's a very difficult language to speak. They also believe in table manners, personal acknowledgement versus acquaintances, privacy requirements. They also have attendance in their restrooms. Also, a lot of companies that are in America, like Apple, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Nike, Audi, BMW, and Adidas are all, their headquarters are in Germany.
So Germans spend most on the mortgage, the rent, just anything that has to do with the household maintenance, energy. And next they spend most on is transportation, such as trains, buses. They spend a lot on food and of course beer. And they only spend about 10.6% of their budget on entertainment, such as movies, games, sports. And they spend quite a chunk of their budget on home appliances. And the rest goes to healthcare, which is only about $90 a month for Germans. And they still buy newspapers. As far as transportation, pretty much most thing is just road-based, driving, deliveries. Okay. So first impressions are very important to Germans. They prefer that you keep an arm's distance at least away from them. They like their personal space. And they're very reserved and quiet. Not quiet, but they're reserved. And so don't be offended if they like, even though they're reserved, they're also like very straightforward. So they will speak their mind. They'll just do it even though you just met them. They like eye contact, of course, and of course handshakes are a very general way of starting and ending meetings. And they do enjoy their quiet and privacy, so do not contact them after 4 p.m. on Thursdays and Monday through Thursday, and after 5 p.m. on Friday, so they actually get to rest. And as well as that, don't contact them after 10 p.m. unless you talk with them beforehand about it. They also, of course, don't bring up like the Holocaust and World War II, all that stuff. Obviously, don't do any gestures associated with that or joke about it. If it does come up, just be very sympathetic about it. And they do not like when you use a lot of exaggerated movements because they take that as, trying to think of the word, like they might not believe you, they might think you're bluffing. When you answer the phone, you address yourself by your last name. When you speak German, just keep in mind that there's different dialects that you have to figure out which dialect you're working with, and each individual has their own version of like Mrs. and Miss, Mr., all that stuff. And they are just very concise. They like to get to the point. You know, they're very private, reserved, like their free time. And they do this thing at the end of presentations where they tap their knuckles on the tabletop. So yeah, that is all for communication in the presentation.